So now let me create one folder here. So dummy folder. Let me create a folder name called thread operation. Okay. Let me close this. Now click on open folder and select the folder which we have. Example, the E drive, thread, select the folder. Okay. Yes. Now it is good. See, there is some file within this. Let me delete this. I don't want this. Okay. So now what we can do is I'm going to the new terminal and I'm going to create a that is the folder. Okay, I'm going to create a CRA2. Okay, so npx create react app and let me give a name as code. So it is installing now. So it is installing. We'll wait for some 1 to 2 minutes. Still it is installing. One second, guys. Okay, next thing is what we need to do. We need to move to that particular folder, right? Correct. And start the program. I will also share this, project to you, so you can also execute. So it is opening. So this is a plain text. We already know this, right? So now under this folder, we need to go to the SRC folder. Okay. So in this SRC folder, let me create one folder named called forms. Okay. I'm just giving a name as forms. So here I will be creating some two files. Okay. So one file is called as the name as add user form.js. The another folder, the file name is, let me give it as edit user form.js. These are the two files I'm going to add. Okay, and first I will code the add user form.js. Okay, so I hope we have discussed about hooks. Okay, this is actually hooks concept. Hooks is nothing but we will be using a use state, and there are so many hooks concepts are there. Okay, as of now I'm going to use a use state concept. What it will do is it will initialize a variable. Example, the syntax will be like this. Let me show you the syntax. Syntax will be a const. Here you need to give variable name, that is as a state name, and here you need to give the updated variable name. Okay, and then here you will be giving what exactly you're going to import. So this is the main important follow-up. Okay, So like this you will be giving. So like this, the initial value will be given here and then you can update it. Okay, clear guys? So now I'll just go here and first we need to import. So what we are going to import? Use state. So to know more about this, let me give you the link also. Uh, React hooks. Go here. So this is the concept. So now we are going to use the state concept. So this is the exact thing what we are going to do here. So why we are going for this? Actually, this hooks is only used for the functional components. It is not for a class component. This is entirely for the functional components. Okay. So let's create for the functional component from React. Okay. Just give a semicolon. So next thing is here I'm going to create one arrow function. Okay. So this is also called as a functional component. Okay. There are two components we have, right? One is class component. The another one is a functional component. The class component is like we need to create a class and we need to give a render and return method. But in a functional component, there are two ways. You can give a name or you can directly go with the arrow functions. Okay. So here I'm just giving a name as add user form. Okay, this is my function name. So equals to, I'm just passing the props. So props is what? Props is nothing but it will pass the data from one component to the another component. That is the purpose we are using this property. Okay, so I'm just giving the arrow function. Here I'm just going to go. Okay, so here first we need an initialization part. So I'm going to initialize some value. So initial form state. Okay, and in this particular thing, I'm going to give a key pair values. The first one is ID is null, it is empty, and the name I'm not going to give any name here. This is the initialization form state. Okay, and then username, it will be empty. The next constant is, I already told you I'm going to use the state here. So for this, what is the syntax? I previously told you, you need to give the variable and the updated variable. That is state variable. So here I'm just giving a user, comma, set user. Okay. So this is the normal variable and this is the updated variable. So here I will be giving a use state of some value. What is the use state value? Use state is the initial state. Here always you need to give the initial state of this one. Okay, so if you have any doubts, please just ask me. Okay, after initializing this, what we need to do again, I'm going to have some event. So the event name is const and the input change. Okay, so this is the the function name which I'm going to give. Okay, this is the event which I'm going to conduct. So again, this is also the arrow function. So here what I'm assigning is I'm just giving a value to be name comma value equals to event dot target. Okay, so event dot target is what? Set user, that is this one. This is the updated value, right? What will be the set user is, the set user will be, I'll giving an operator user comma name colon value. So whatever the value the user is giving, it will get updated in the set user. So these three are nothing but initialization process. First, we are initializing the value to be null, and the second, we are just setting the value to be the initial form, and the third one is we are creating the event, and the event should get the value of the name. Okay. So now after this, what is the process of regular functional method? We will be creating a return. right? So return method. So in this return method, I'm just going to create a form. So give a form on submit. So yeah, so what is this form? So here again, I'm going to create one more event, and then finally I will be creating a labels. Clear? So let me, I'll be closing like this. So this is a normal state. Okay. So I'll be closing this event, and then I need to close the form. Okay. As of now, let me delete this. Here I will be giving an event. So what is the event name? So event is here what we have given the event. So let me give the event dot event dot prevent default. Actually, this is a method and this is an interview question. So let's check prevent default method. So what this method will do is it will cancel the event if it is cancelable. So meaning the default action that belongs to the event will not occur. For example, what they are saying is clicking on the submit button prevent it from submitting a form. Clicking on the link prevent the link from following the URL. Example, if you don't want to happen something, then you can go with this prevent default method. Sorry, getting guys what I'm trying to say. It is very simple, ma. You might feel it is complicated, but while you're doing it, it will be easy. Okay. And the next thing is I'm going to have a condition. So what is the condition is all about is user.name. Okay. The user.name, I'm going to use a or condition is not equivalent to user.username. If it is, if this is a condition, so it will return. Now we are going to pass the event. So actually this is one different event and this is a different event, right? So I'm going to pass this value over here. So like props dot add user. So I'm going to add the user here. If there are four functionality, that is create, read, update and delete. These are the four things we are going to do. So as of now, the first one is I'm going to add the value. So I'm just giving a props as add user. And then set user. Initial form state. Clear? So now, yeah, I have opened this form, so I need to close this. I'm going to close this form. I'm just going to close this event, the empty event. The next part is the label. Okay, after doing this, now I'm going to create a label to view the details. Okay, whatever we are doing. So name, label, and then I'm going to get the input of the user. So input type equals to text. Okay, and then on change. Okay. So on change. So here we will be giving as handle input change. So later we will change. So here we have given a event name, right? So the same event name I'm giving here. Just copy this paste it here. Okay, and the third attribute, it is called as name. I'm just giving a name as name itself, and the value it's going to be user dot name. Okay, so this is how it will be. And the next part is I'm going to get the user label. So let me copy all this. Next thing I'm going to get it from the user is user name. Okay. In the on chain, the same thing will be repeated, but here I'm going to give the name as what? User name. The value it's going to be user dot user name. Right? If you are using a hooks concept, it will be very easy to execute the code using a functional things. Previously, before 4 years, they have stopped using a class components. They were using a functional components using this hooks only. Okay, you also try to use a hook itself. The button, I'm just creating a button as add new user. This is the button, and I'm just going to close this slash home. Return and close this. Finally, I'm going to export this. Okay, so export default. So whatever the JS file or the components you are using, you need to export it. Add user. So there is one single error. Let me check what is the error. So we'll try to run this program. So we'll see what is the output. So as of now, it is not updated because we have not put anything, imported this particular add user in any other files. Okay, so we need to do that. So let's add it. Give me a second. So I have given, I didn't close this one. Let me check what is the error. Event const name comma value equal to event or target. Yeah. Okay. The next thing is I'm going to work with edit user form now. So in the edit user form, I'm going to add one more thing that is called as a use effect. Let me show you. Just click on here and use effect hook. So let's see what it is. So this, effect hooks lets you perform the side effects in the functional components. Example, let me tell you one scenario. If I want to count something, or if I want to, if example, I have an application, I want to check whether the user, how many times the user has been visited that particular application. So for that, we need this particular use effect. This is similar to component did mount. So that is a different story. We'll see about it later. So if you want to check any particular thing, if you want to count, the kind of, the activities which is performed, or if you want to count the, the timings, you can use this use effect. Okay, so just go here type import use effect, comma use type. I'm going to use both the things. So from nuts. After giving this, again, I'm going to create a functional component. The functional component, the first important thing is in use state is what? You need to give the common variable name, and the one more thing is you need to give the updated variable name. Okay, so here I'm just giving the function name. It's going to be the edit user form, and I'm going to pass a value. So let me give it as a props created a functional components, and the const user comma the same repeated thing. Okay, so set user, but the logic differs. User state. In the user state, what we can do is I'm going to have a props of a current user. Whatever you're selecting, the current thing, you are going to edit it, right? So for that purpose, I'm just giving as a props dot current user. Let me see what is the error of. So this is a use state, user state. After this, I'll be creating a use effects method. Okay. So for this purpose only, we have imported the use effect. So inside this, let me set the user of props dot current user, and then just I have closed it off, and you need to give one more thing. So see here, there is important syntax. I don't know whether it has been presented here. Let me show you the syntax for use effect. Okay, ma'am, this is the basic syntax what you want to do. So if you are using a use effect, you need to import it, the use effect from React, and then you need to create a functional components. Either it can be a arrow function or it can be a normal function and function name. Okay, so here you will be passing some two parameters. Okay, the first one is call it about the returned JSX, and you need to pass two arguments that is called as a function and array. Okay, so here the first thing is your function. You have set the function, and next you need to pass the array. Array is nothing but a props. Clear? One second. Okay, the first one is you have given the set user, and this is the prop dot current user, and the second one is the props. Okay, and after this, let me remove this one. Here, after doing this, what we need to do, the third step is we'll be creating a event, right? Const handle the same thing, handle input change. What we have done in the add user, the same thing. Here we'll be giving an event, create an arrow function. Inside this, you will be having a const name comma value equals to event dot target. Set user. User is what? The values you are going to set. Okay, so here I will be giving a triple operator user. So triple operator is nothing but it will be called as a spread operator. Let's see what is spread operator in JavaScript. Okay, see here, This spread operators allows you to quickly copy all or part of a existing array or an object. So I have a set of values here, like the variable A and the variable B. So here I will be putting up a triple dots and I can get the value. So whatever the value we are getting, it will be added using this triple, that is spread operator. So that is the purpose we are using this or triple dot. Clear? So after getting the user, I need the value. So how I can get the value? I'll be giving the name colon value. So like this, we'll be getting the we'll be fetching the values. So the next part is what? Return method. So after initializing this thing in the functional components, what we will do, we'll be putting a return statement, right? The return create a form on submits. So inside this on submit form, the same thing, let me copy from here. Same steps will be followed. But small changes are there. Let's do. Okay. So here in the event, so event dot default, and then I'm just checking whether the user dot name and it is not equivalent, it will throw it up. And in this place, what we will do, we will update the values. So update user user dot id comma user. Okay, so after updating this value, just go to the label form and give a label name, and then the input type text, the same thing, handle input change, whatever the events you are given, just put it over here, and the name again, the value is going to be the username. Yeah. And the next also the username, we are getting the username, the same thing, but here some changes will be happening. So what is called I have updated the user dot username, but after in this button I will be giving as update the user. I'll be giving as update user, and I will be giving one more button to edit the values. Okay, button. So here the class name will be given as what? Give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, ma'am. So actually, the next step is like the second button. So what is the second button is to? It is to edit the values. Okay. So whatever the given text, if you are trying to edit, for that I'm creating a button. Just giving a name as button. Let me give it as want it in the some color. So that's the reason I'm just adding as button muted button. It's a color. Okay, not anything other than that. And then click function of. So here I have created one on-click function. If I click on that edit option, then what is gonna happen? So again, I'm just pausing the props and I'm going to set the editing. So directly you can give the name as set editing and just give it as a false. Giving a name as cancel. Just close the form Here, okay, then you need to mention it as what? Edit user form. Let me check what is the error in this place. Let me check this one. Set current user, then use effects. Sorry, here it is a function actually. So on submit event, and I'm just prevent default, and user it is not equal, it will return, and the probs update user id comma user, and then I've closed it. Now after this, so the form only I'm getting an error. 1 second guys, let me check. Mm, run this. We have not imported it, but let me check whether it is. Okay, no issues. So now what we can do is the next part is I'll rectify this error later. Okay. So next part is I'm going to create a table to display the values. Okay. So for that, so in SRC, I'll create one new folder name called tables. Okay. So in the tables, I'll be creating one file. So that file name is called user table.js. Okay, so this is a file. So now here what we need to do. So here I'm just going to apply some kind of details. I'm going to view the content. For that we need to create a table, a normal table. But as you already know, we can create these things using a components only. So here I'm using a functional component constant user table is equals to props. Okay, sorry. Check. So this is an open thing. Okay, let's check later, no issues. So now we will create this one. Okay, so here I'll be creating a table directly. So table, so how you do it in the HTML, the same process. So here I'm giving a head, table head. Okay, so in table head, what are the details I need to display is in the table row, I need to see the name and then username, and then I need actions before. Okay, so these are the steps we will be following. And after this T body element, inside this T body, props dot users dot length. Okay, so in this particular add user, we will be calculating the length. Okay, so how we will be doing it in the array, the same concept in JavaScript array and all. How will be displaying the values? So a is equal to some set of values will be there that you will be giving as a dot length, right? The same process. Here you will be passing a value using a props. So props dot user dot length equals to what? If it is greater than 0, I'm using a ternary operator. Okay, so here I'll be giving as props dot users dot map. So what is map? Guys, if you're using a map concept, let me show you map method in JavaScript. So this is a map method. So it is only mostly if you're creating a new array from calling a function, then we'll be using this. Okay, this is a syntax. How we will be giving array, what is the array name, dot map, and a function name, and what is the current value index in array, and what is this particular value. Okay, so this is how it will be. So here is the example. See here, this is a person name, that is the array name, and you have given the map value and what you are going to perform, the function. Okay, so these are the the advanced concept you should know. So here, so inside this map, what I'm giving is I'm just giving a user. Here, one by one, the array values will get displayed. Okay, so first I'll be creating a row and I'm giving a key value as what? User dot id. So this is my table row. Inside this table row, so after getting the user ID, one by one it has to display. What are the things it has to display? Table data. So in table data, so I already told you, if you're creating some JavaScript code, you will be mentioning within the curly braces. Okay. So me give this as user dot name. And again table data. Inside this user dot user. Two table data has been displayed. So the next part is inside this table data, I need one more button to be used. So button on click. I'll be deleting this. In this button, I have created one on-click function, that is arrow function. So here, I want my props to be, it should have some edit option, rows of user. Guys, don't get confused of this. Just understand the concept alone. Okay, what we are trying to do. Next thing is already we have created one class name, right? So here you need to mention that class name. So class name is what? Previously we have used a button, muted hyphen button. And after this, I need one more button for what? To delete the user. Just understand the first thing is to add the username and name, and you will be having a edit option, edit button. And the next thing is you will be having a delete button. Okay, the fourth one is the delete button. On click, dots, delete user, user.id, giving the class name to be button, muted button. Here, so like this we'll be doing it, and here I need to close the table data. Actually this is under this table data. I need to close it here. And yeah, so the next part is, as of now what we have done, we have created a ternary operator. The first, if it is greater than 0, you will be performing this particular action. If not, then what happened? So we need to create a table row for that. I hope you already know what is table row. That is ternary operator. So here I'm giving a table data. So in this table data, column span, okay, and you'll be saying as no user. Then you will be closing this. Again, here also the same problem. And finally, you need to export this, export default user table. Okay. So this is the last step you need to follow. And after this, what are the files we need to upload? So as of now, we have a form and we can display it in the table. The next thing is I'm going to do some changes in the app.js and index.css and index.js file. So let me go with the app.js file. The first thing is we need to update this file. Give me 1 minute. Okay, guys, the next part is, so after doing this, we are going to change this, the entire part. So let me delete all this. Okay, this is my application. So here I'm going to run this program. Okay, so let's do a step by step. First, we need to import use state concept because it is entirely created using a hooks. Next is import. What are the files we are going to import? As of now, we have created add user, right? So import add user. So this is the main application we will be linking. Okay. So add user form. From where? So from dot slash it is from forms folder. That's showing up. Okay. So this is the first one. The second one is just copy it. The name differs. The next part is I'll be adding a edit user form. So from where? From forms, edit user. And the third one is user table. And tables, user table. Okay. So like this, we will be updating. And next one is this is the functional component, and I'm giving a name as functional of. Sorry, this is actually a normal function. I'm not going to use any arrow mark. Okay. So here we will be doing some important thing. First is you will be setting a user's data, and second one is you will be working with add user, and the third one is you will be deleting the user, and you will set the state for initial form state and the current value, and you will edit the row and you will update, and finally you will be creating a the application, that is a front end, what you need to display in the front end. Okay, clear? We will do it. The first part is const user data. Inside this, first one is I'll be giving a user ID as 1, and the name it's gonna be, I'll be giving a name as okay, I'll be giving some name Monica, and the username differs. Okay, so this is the username and ID and everything. And this after this, this is a square bracket. Okay, just copy this. I'm going to put some three datas here. Shita, data, Pallavi. Okay. So like this, I have updated some names. Okay, this is my user data. First, it is visible to me. Then you are continuing, right? You need to give comma here. And you have selected the user. Now I'm trying to add the user. So how we can add the user? Just go to the const add user equals to user is my props here. User dot id equals to user dot length plus 1. And set user, give triple the spread operators to get all these values, users comma user. So here also you need to mention as user. Okay. Okay, and then after initializing the add user, here again you will be using a delete user. Okay, delete user equals to id of what? Set user. So to delete the user, what we will doing? So users dot filter to delete the users. Okay, so I'm using the filter method user, and then so here I will be using the functional component. Sorry, that is a RF function. Just you go and check here filter method in JavaScript. So see what is the main purpose to create a new array filled with the elements that pass a test provided by a function. So this is the same thing which we are following here. So example, so it will test. So click the test to get every element in the array that has a value above this number. Okay, to filter the values, we are using this particular filter method. Okay, you need to give what exactly you're going to do. So I'm going to check. I'm going to check the user as user.id is not equals to id. Okay, and then finally set editing method as false. Here, and then just I'll remove this const. Now we have add the user, I have deleted the user. So now what we need to do is, what is the error here? So here we have one thing. Actually, this is the function, and here you need to update it again. Okay. So, and the last thing is you will be going to initialize some values. Guys, it will be little confusing, so don't worry. Um, Once you work on this, you can understand. Okay, I will also share the coding of this. You can execute on your own using this Visual Studio. Okay, so next one is I'm going to set the user, set user of what? Use state, user state. Okay, and then const. I'm just going to edit the values. Okay, so editing comma set editing. So normal variable is editing. After editing that, we are setting into set editing. So equals to what? Equal to use state so the next part is like again we need to create one more initialization for initial forms. Okay, so to initial, actually guys, this is a basic form. You need to code it in this app.js. Okay, so app.js is a main form, and you will be connecting all this component in this app.js. Okay, that's what we are doing. Here I'll be performing it as id colon null, and then command name. So whatever we have given in the initial form state, that form we need to repeat here. User name colon anything. Closes off. Const. Here again we are using the use state to initial form state. Okay, so whatever the initial form state, we are going to get it here. So it is nothing but current user comma set user is equals to what? Use state initial. Okay, so this is a initial state which I am giving here. And again for edit row, so before we have given for add user and edit user. Now I'm going to update it for the edit row and the update the user, how we can update it. For that, const edit row equals to user set editing. Set editing is true. So previously it was false, but if it is true, then what happened? We need to set the current user, that's to be id colon user comma id colon sorry we need to set the current user to be the id user dot id comma the name is gonna be what? The name is nothing but again user dot name. Like this we will be updating. Okay, and for the username, user dot username. Within curly brace only we'll be defining it, and after this part we have to update the user. So how we can do this? Update or const update user. In this part we'll be giving some two probs here. So first prob is id. The user can edit the id or user can edit the update username. The both we can do it. In this I'm just setting a editing false and then set user users dot map user. So here what I'm going to map is, again I'm just going to the use a ternary operator here. So I'll be mentioning as if the user dot id is equivalent to the id, then what we need to do, we need to update the user. Otherwise the user will be displayed. Yeah. So here we need one users. Then finally now only, so after initializing all these particular part in the function, what we will be doing, we'll be using a return method here. So what is a return method? So let's check. Just come down. Here I'll be giving as return method. So the div container class, the class name is what? Container. Use this container, and then giving the heading name as thread with hooks. So we are doing the thread operation: create, read, update, and delete using a hook. Okay, and again I'm just using a class name to be flex. So I'll tell you what is this all about, because we'll be using this class name in the app.js or index.js. Okay, let's see how we can do this. Just as of now, just follow the code alone. And then I'm creating a class name to be a flex large. Okay, so after this, inside this curly brace, I'm going to use a JavaScript code. That is the reason I'm using a curly brace within the element, HTML element. Okay, so here I'm giving as editing. If the editing, okay, so I'm using a ternary operator here. So div container, if it is true, the editing is true, then the div container will be having like h2 edit user and edit user form. So whatever the here you have using some components, right? I'm going to use that component over in this place. So I will be taking that the component name and just set editing to be set editing. Okay, and then here I'll be using a current user. It's going to be what? Current user. And then update user equals to update user. And I'm closing all this thing. Okay, I just to close this div container here itself. And then give a slash div and close it off. And now for this question mark, if it is true, then it will display this, or else it will display the another thing. It will add the user. If we are going to edit, then it will go to this edit user. Otherwise, it will go to the div container to add the users. Okay, so I'm just going to add the user h2 add user, and I will add the user as user form, and user equals to close it off. Okay, so I've given the add user form here to add it, otherwise we'll be deleting it. Edit user form. Okay, yeah. So next, just close this div container here. Closes the function which has opened here, the ternary operator, right? I'm just closing that and close with curly brace, the slash div container. And finally, I want to edit the details. So div container class name equals to flex hyphen large. So now I want to view the users. For that, I'm creating this one. So for that, what we need to do, we need to use a user table to view it, right? So I'll be using that component here, user table component, and I'm just giving a name as edit row. Delete the user. If you want to delete, you can click on delete. Otherwise, you can add the users. These are the two options you can do it. Delete user, or it will display the username. Let me close this all the containers which has been opened before. This flex lodge and flex this one. Okay. After this, close this one and close the curly brace, and I'm going to export default. Okay. So as of now, I have created forms and tables. I have imported it within the what this one, that is app.js. Okay. So the next part is like whatever we have given in the index dot, the class is the file name. Here we are going to input. Okay. So we are going to create some thing to make it different. Okay. So let me add some points. So let me get into this index.js. Actually, index.css file, it is very lengthier. Okay, I'll just show you how it is. Then you can do it. Okay, so React from React import React DOM. What? So if you're creating the index.js, definitely these two lines is very important. And after that, you can add if you have some extra things. To import the app also. App from where slash app. And then the const, I already told you yesterday. The first one, the root variable we are creating to where it has to be displayed. Okay, so it has to be displayed in the React DOM dot create root document dot get element by ID. Root dot render. This is a render method. So here I'm just creating a strict mode. So React strict mode. I'll tell you what it is. Okay. So as of now, just mention it as React. So this going to be the so here only this particular file is going to be executed. So that is the reason we are giving as what React strict mode. Okay. The final thing is nothing but your index.css. So give me 1 minute. I'll rectify this code.